Welcome back to TransGuyReacts. My name is Nik and I make videos about women's basketball, collegiate or professional. And today I'm going to talk about the WNBA games for Wednesday, September 11th. Today there were 3 games on. I'd only watched one of them, to be honest, or maybe, well, two. Two of them I watched. The first one, well, before I even get into that, let me talk about the transactions for today. So Kayla Davis was signed to a 7-day contract. Her first was Chicago Sky, obviously to take into account Angel Reese's departure because of her fractured wrists, so she wasn't going to be able to play for the rest of the season, so they needed to sign someone else, and they signed Kayla. But the first game of the day was the Las Vegas Aces versus the Indiana Fever. I did not watch this game. I don't like to watch Fever games because of the stench of racism that comes with Indiana, so I just don't watch. And honestly, it didn't really matter because both of them are in playoffs, and this is just more about positioning. But what did happen is Asia was back because she had like a scare with her ankle, so she rolled her ankle, so she didn't play last game, so she did play in this game, and a historic game for her. She breaks the single season points record with 940 points, beating Jewel Lloyd, who had 939 points last season. And this crazy is there's so many more games left, and we haven't even gotten to the playoffs, so she's obviously going to get over 1,000 points in one season. It's just freaking wild. It was a decisive win for the Aces. They won every quarter except for the third, but even that quarter they lost only by 2 points. It was 86-75. But let me give you the breakdown of the box score. Lexi Hull had 9 points. Melissa Smith had 9 points, 6 rebounds. Leah Boston only had 6 points, 10 rebounds though, and she fouled out of the game with 6 fouls. Kelsey Mitchell had 24 points. Caitlin Clark had 16 points and 5 turnovers, as she does. And then no one else really had anything more than like 5 or 6 points. For the Aces, Asia Wilson had 27 points, 12 rebounds for a double-double, 2 steals, 3 blocks. Kelsey Plum had 9 points. Chelsea Gray had 11 points. Tiffany Hayes had 12 points. And Alicia Clark had 14 points. So you're just like so much more firepower. And even Sydney Colson scored a point. You know, she's been in the game a lot. She's been in a lot of minutes, and she's been really effective on the floor, especially for defense. The second game of the day was the Washington Mystics versus the Chicago Sky, which I did watch because this game actually mattered in terms of the placement for playoffs. Both are battling, both for that 8th spot. And like I said earlier, Angel Reese had her wrist surgery yesterday. It was successful. I think they put a screw in there for her. It's like a hairline fracture. And then Diamond DeShields was out because she had an ankle injury in the last game, unfortunately. And Shakira Austin was out for the Mystics. In that first quarter, the Mystics just came out and they just killed the Sky in that first quarter. They did not come to play around at all. It was 29-13 at the end of the first quarter. Second quarter, the Sky did try to make a comeback. They did fight a little bit, but the Mystics were still able to keep a lead. It was 43-29. In the third quarter, it was pretty much the same as the second quarter. The Mystics were able to extend the lead to 71-46. At that point, I was like, it's a wrap. This game ain't happening for the Sky. In the first quarter, Isabel Harrison, who was playing really great, she ends up fouling out with 7 minutes left in the game, which is like just way too early. They should have pulled her when she got her 5th foul, but they didn't. Kayla Davis did get in the game, which is nice because they signed her today and she got in the game right away. But the score was 89-58. They got their ass beat. And it sucks, like, it's hard when you don't have all your players. I mean, what can you do? So the box score for this, Isabel Harrison had 10 points, 8 rebounds, but she fouled out of the game, so that didn't help them. Camila Cardoso had 13 points, 8 rebounds. Kennedy Carter had 16 points, and then everyone else had like 4 or 6 points. It just wasn't enough offense. Washington Mystics, 14 points for Brittany Sykes, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. She was touching the triple-double. Oh, there's an airplane going by. I live near an airport. So, Brittany Sykes was very close to getting a triple-double, which is kind of crazy. Aaliyah Edwards had 15 points, 10 rebounds for a double-double, 1 steal, 3 blocks. A fantastic game for that rookie. Ariel Atkins had 9 points. Julie Van Loo had 9 points. Emily Inkster had 7. Sika Kone had 11. Jade Melbourne had 8. It was just like everybody was scoring. So, really great game for the Washington Mystics. They're trying to get their way to that 8th spot. Last game of the night was the Seattle Storm versus the Los Angeles Sparks. I barely paid attention to this game, to be honest. honest, because it did not matter. It's more about positioning for the Storm because the Sparks are eliminated from the playoffs. Ari McDonald is still out for that ankle injury, and so is Leja Clarendon for mental health stuff. The arena was actually kind of empty, but like the people who were there were like very, very into the game, very loud, which I appreciate. Like even if it's not a full arena, people who are there are like about it. Nneka Onwumike was able to become the 12th all-time leading scorer in this game with, I forgot how many points she has now, but it's probably in like the 7 or 8,000 range. In the first quarter, Rakia Jackson and Azurá Stevens were going off. They were swinging. Great start for the Sparks, 15-23. In the second quarter, the Sparks go on a run again right in the beginning of the quarter, and they were leading by 13 points. It was looking really good. But then the last 3 minutes, the Storm go on a run and cut the deficit to 6 points. Things to note, Essence Carson was in the building. She's a former WNBA player. She's a fantastic player. Love to see her. She's doing music now, but she was in the game. Also, Chiney Onwumike and her dad, and Nneka's sister and her dad were there. And Chiney used to be a WNBA player, but she just kept getting injured, and she decided to basically retire. The Sparks, like I said, were playing really good, and then by the end of the quarter, they evened the score. It was 41-41 at the half. Go into the third quarter, Odyssey Sims and Skylar Diggins-Smith were going at it. It was like a game within the game. It was pretty fun to watch, actually, when I was paying attention. Rakia Jackson was continuing to play well, just playing well outside of being a rookie. She was just playing great. Very tight quarter, actually, and it ended 66-60 with the edge to the Storm. Then we go into the fourth quarter, and they show Liz Cambage in the building, and I was like, what? What is Liz doing there? Liz Cambage is a very interesting person. Plays a lot of bully ball. There's lots of like footage of her like basically punching people and hitting them in the elbows on purpose, with her elbows in the face on purpose. She is not well liked in the WNBA. She had a lot of mental health stuff going on, but she's a fantastic player. So now she just mainly plays overseas, and well, not even Australia really. She plays like in China because she makes bank in China. But she was at the game, and I think her last team was the Sparks, and she did not leave on good terms. So I was just kind of weird that she was there. She was wearing a grill, also kind of weird, but whatever. Liz Cambage was there. Odyssey Sims, unfortunately, got hurt. She hurt her hand, and I think she might have dislodged a finger. So she went out of the game with a trainer immediately and didn't come back into the game. Hopefully she's okay. Again, this was a very tight quarter. It was like within a point most of the quarter. It was very physical. There's at one point Jewel Lloyd and Nneka Onwumike were like bloody, and they had to get like infection control going on because there's too much blood on the court, or they're on their body. But the Storm were able to stretch the lead at the very end, and they win the game 90-82. So let me show that box score, or check out that box score. For the Sparks, Rakia Jackson had 22 points and 7 rebounds. This rookie is unreal. Azurá Stevens had 18 points, 15 rebounds for a double-double. Fantastic night for Azurá. Ray Burrell had 14 points. Odyssey Sims had 16 points and 6 assists before she went out. Unfortunately, just got hurt. But for the Seattle Storm, Gabby Williams had 17 points, a fantastic game for her. She's really gelling with the team. Nneka Onwumike had 16 points, 8 rebounds. Got the plane going by. Another plane. I didn't close my sliding glass door to my balcony, so we're hearing it all. Ezzy McElvore had 14 points, 8 rebounds, 4 blocks. Monster night of blocks for her. Jewel Lloyd had 12 points, 5 assists. Skylar Diggins-Smith had 26 points, 4 steals and 3 blocks. That's crazy. So just so many heavy hitters from Storm, and that's why they beat out the Sparks. But it was a fun game. When I was watching it, it was a fun game to watch. It was really entertaining. So yeah, so that was the games for today. If you enjoy those kind of quick recaps, like this kind of content, please like, share, subscribe, follow, do all the things that you do on social media, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.